let's watch is Dean Withers, who did the America tour, which was trying to doggedly chase clout from Charlie Kirk by showing up to his events and attempting to have counter events while using the rhetoric that he was a fascist, a Nazi, among many other things. Brian Atlas has been very good about releasing the various documents, which they deleted from their websites, showing these various things. So let's watch as Withers cries here.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude.
Now, this is the same Dean Withers, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
You know,
same Dean Withers.
Imagine,
Are you gonna? Yeah, you got to pause it, Mystery.
Sorry,
but yeah, same Dean Withers.
I was just sitting here, just like raging.
Yeah, same Dean Withers, who, as he says, his wife and his children were there, and they had to see all of this. Was more than willing to call Child Protective Services, docs a man, have Child Protective Services called because he engaged in a hypothetical about who actually owns the custody of your children.
Yep.
You or the state. And because the guy answered in the only logically consistent way that he could, Withers tried to make him out to be some sort of child assailant because he's instructed his audience to dox him and instructed them to call Child Protective Services. They would have ripped that family to pieces in front of that father. He wouldn't have given a shit then. The same guy. And he, by the way, perhaps if that event had happened years ago or even many, many months ago, I would be more forgiving about that as people can change their opinions on things. This was a recent event. And now suddenly he's crying. Yeah, now suddenly he's crying about Charlie Kirk's demise, even though he contributed heavily to the rhetoric that he was a Nazi and an evildoer and everything else.
Yeah, he's crying because he feels guilty, as he should.
Well, and there's another thing, right? Like, Dean's at least not the dumbest person in the world. And I think some of these left-wing people, even if just for pure self-preservation, I don't think that they thought things through. Once this violence escalates for political commentators on the right, it raises the temperature for all political commentators. And it's a very bad thing. It's why people like us have been pushing for open debate as opposed to this sort of fascist rhetoric, Nazi rhetoric, calling people those sorts of things that we've seen on the left that's designed to silence people and to get them censored.
Baby Doll says he apparently, now this is unconfirmed, but put a poll in his Discord while he was streaming asking if Kirk deserved to die, in which 84% of the respondents said yes. And what's funny here, too, look at the caption. Charlie Kirk has sadly passed away. This is his biggest rival's reaction. What a way to inflate the ego. Dean Withers was not in the same universe as Charlie Kirk. They weren't even in the same league.
To be fair, I think that's from this person's TikTok.
I get it. But even that is just insane. They're not even in the same universe.
It's a small gripe, but hey, Dean, if you're going to give an emotional appeal, maybe take off the little overlays of join my fan club. I don't know. Maybe a moment to stop grifting there would be appropriate. Especially, this is what's important. I'm not even saying that someone can't call me the most hateful rhetoric and that blood's on their hands. What I am saying, though, is this. We've seen this go for years and years. Is it okay to punch a Nazi? Of course. These streamers know it. The people in the media know it. They know that there was assassination attempts against Trump. They know that Trump supporters have been beaten, bludgeoned, harassed, chased out of facilities. They know that Democratic politicians have called for that. And yet they keep this rhetoric up over and over and over. And so now when they see the fruits of their labor, please spare us your crocodile tears. I know that you think it's what you must do to save face at this point, but you knew what was likely to occur based on the rhetoric you were setting up.
Agree. Continue, Mystery.
Okay.
Imagine being a 12-year-old, watching your dad die. Nobody deserves that.
Now imagine,
not even Charlie Kirk.
Imagine being, what a piece of shit. And by the way,
even Charlie
imagine Kirk. Being a 12-year-old and watching your father get taken out in handcuffs over a CPS allegation that has no merits whatsoever because you hurt a progressive TikToker's fifis on a live one day. and his audience doxed you and then sent misreporting over to a law enforcement agency as corrupt, by the way, as Child Protective Services is often portrayed to be. Well, that's Dean Withers. He was willing to do that to that guy, and without any qualms whatsoever. And even here, as he says, not even Charlie Kirk deserves that. Not even him. Still inferring, of course, that Charlie Kirk is all of the evil things which he was trying to portray him as being. Not even Charlie Kirk deserves that. What a dick. What a dick.
I mean, I just want you to think, as he says, not even Charlie Kirk. Look in the mirror and ask yourself this. Was Charlie Kirk more extreme than you? Or was he more moderate than you? And what these people are saying, even at this moment, even as they're saying, oh my goodness, his children were there, even, they throw that word even in, which implies that certainly you, if you had positions that were stronger on immigration, if you had positions that were stronger on anti-LGBT or stronger on a litany of other issues, what do you think they would say even deserves to happen to you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, or if he's the exception that they would give the courtesy to, if anybody was one step past that exception, they would deserve it by implication there, right, Rob?
That's exactly what they're saying. And again, what I'm saying is, like, there is no the position at this point for these people is it okay to punch a Nazi? Yes. And everyone that doesn't completely ideologically align with me is a Nazi. If you're watching this and you're a moderate and you're like a centrist or whatever, you don't exist in the eyes of these people. That's why we say the moderates are dead. You too are merely an enemy to be targeted eventually. Once you become effective enough to take away from their agenda, then you'll be targeted. Don't think I'll be safe because I'm not Nick Fuentes. I'll be safe because I'm not going into the lion's den like Andrew Wilson and arguing against these feminists. No, they'll come for you too. The only thing that keeps them from coming for you is that they don't look at you as a threat right now. But I assure you, your ideological positions, unless you're totally in alignment with this trans agenda, with the radical left agenda, that your political positions would
With
mark
mass
you for death.
migration,
Right.
with mass migration, with gun control, with all of the restrictions that they would put on the family structure, family unit, LGBTQ adoption. I can go on and on and on and on
Bro,
and on.
if you don't think healthcare is a human right, you're their enemy.
One of the posts I saw you make here earlier today, Andrew, was they were going through the extremism of Charlie Kirk, and one of them said radical pro-life. Yes, because now they must kill because it's a radical position to say they shouldn't kill their babies.
That's right. It's a radical, but that was from Hassan Piker, who said Charlie Kirk is such a monster. He said that even if his daughter was brutally raped, that he would still allow that pregnancy to come to fruition. Now, I understand that there's contention on this, but the only logically consistent answer there actually is to say you're not allowed to murder your children, even if it's the case that a horrible crime happened to you. So when this was asked to Charlie Kirk in a hypothetical, he said, look, I'm not going to endorse that child getting murdered, even if it actually psychologically harms the mother, because two wrongs don't make a right. We understand that it's a continuous form of the kind of rapist assaulting her. We get that, but you still can't murder children over it. And so they try to use that as a weapon. Hassan Piker tried to use that as a weapon, as though that wasn't something noble that Kirk was saying that needs to be a sacrifice, even if something as horrible as that happens, but rather it was monstrous. These people are pieces of shit. And of course he thinks Hassan Piker, even if he wouldn't say it out loud, of course he thinks that Kirk deserved it. He deserved it.
They take that comment with Kirk. It illustrates something you see that's common with the left. Like, watch a debate that I do or that you do, Andrew. We'll bite bullets. Oftentimes, positions that you have, there are hard hypotheticals that you have to admit that you're sort of looking at two evils and you have to make a choice amongst those. But if you're a consistent person with an ideology and a moral framework that's consistent, you're able to answer truthfully and honestly, even in those difficult circumstances. Yet these people will never do such. They act as if they have to, every single time you ask them a question, they think through, well, where are they going with this? What could I possibly say? Because they know that their truthful opinions are indefensible. So in other words, what they do is hide through their cowardice, and they attack strong men like Charlie Kirk that will actually say what's the logically consistent position, even if he himself would admit that's a difficult truth to hear. We should not murder innocent children because of the tragic circumstances for how they were conceived.
Yeah, that's it. It's that simple. But according to a leftist, of course, that would make you a monster.